Hi, it's John, and welcome to the channel, 6:27 a.m. It is Thursday, August the 7th, with the Big Blue Mug of Coffee. I hope you're having a great start to your Thursday, almost to the weekend. I've been up for almost 3 hours now. I think I got up around 3:30 this morning. And I've drawn a blank all morning as to what to talk about. Lots of things to chat about, but I just didn't feel inspired. And then it came to me. A voice from the sky came down and said, John, talk about hiking in Nova Scotia today. Okay. Lots of people talking about hiking in Nova Scotia. Lots of people doing videos on it. I have a different perspective. And before I tell you what my different perspective is, do not run for unsubscribe. Stick with me. I also want to touch on Tim Houston, the progressive, conservative premier of Nova Scotia. Remember, he's a progressive, part of Team Canada. We'll get to that in just a moment. So I go over to X, and I wanted to look up Tim Houston on X. Here he is, Tim Houston, Premier Nova Scotia, right here. This is unbelievable. This is from August the 3rd. We're making it easier and more enjoyable to get outside and explore Nova Scotia's natural beauty. He tweeted this like on the weekend and then yesterday. Well, you probably have seen this. Not going to play the whole thing.
Effective 4 p.m. today, we're telling Nova Scotians, stay out of the woods.
Stay out of the woods because of wildfires. Of course, you could be fined $25,000. This is a win for our side. Tim Houston believes that all natural disasters are caused by climate change. More storms, more droughts, more floods, more wildfires. That's what he believes. But the government of Nova Scotia is now pointing out that humans are one of the main reasons for this problem. So that's why he's banning hikers. This is heavy-handed. I believe in education, not legislation like Tim Houston. But he believes climate change causes wildfires until it doesn't, and he bans people. What are the reasons for wildfires? The number one reason is lightning. He couldn't ban lightning. So based on the facts, human activity, he's banning humans. This is the wrong thing to do. He's being mocked mercilessly online. Don't you just hate it when you're out hiking and all of a sudden you start a fire by walking? Tyrant Tim Houston announced he's canceling summer in Nova Scotia. No hiking, fishing, vehicles in the woods. It's next level authoritarianism. Trail systems through woods are off limits. I can't even take an effing hike. Moose on the Loose tweeting this out as well. But based on the facts, human beings do cause a lot of wildfires. I couldn't believe it. I saw this story this morning and I knew this, but it just blows my mind that this happens. In Saskatchewan, officials seeking those responsible for intentional human acts of arson. And it goes down here to say that there's up to 30 fires that have been intentionally set. Why would you do that? You'd have to be a pyromaniac or have a political reason for doing it, and that would be the climate change action or angle. But Houston, as the leader of the government of Nova Scotia, is now admitting that humans are the reason for wildfires. We're always told by people like Tim Houston that it's climate change. So this is a win for us, okay? What should we do? Are we educating people enough about wildfires? I don't know. I know that when we have wildfire risk, I hear it all the time here in Alberta. It's a big issue. We have lots of wildfires here. If you go into Banff National Park, you'll generally see a sign that has wildfire risk, and there's levels of wildfire risk. You might see that at a trailhead as well. I think there should be severe penalties if you light a wildfire, unintentionally. There should be at every trailhead $50,000 fine if you even accidentally light a wildfire. I think that would be appropriate, maybe even more, and maybe some jail time. It's an incredible cost and it could kill people. Now, as far as intentionally lighting a wildfire, I think it should be considered attempted murder. And there should be a sign at every trailhead and in every parking area. The Alberta government considers intentionally lighting wildfires attempted murder. You will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and you should have a long jail term if you're caught doing that. Tim Houston being absolutely ridiculous. This is stupid, but he's admitted now as a progressive that it's not climate change causing wildfires. Couldn't ban the lightning, so he's going after the human beings. Now, Tim Houston has revealed who he is. We know who this guy is. I'm throwing out Nova Scotia now. You know, I've said in a number of videos over the last month that we need to cut off organizations and provinces from any benefit from natural resources if they get in the way. And that includes British Columbia, Manitoba, Quebec, now Nova Scotia, because they're getting in the way as well. I'll show you in just a moment. And Aboriginal groups that do that as well. If you want to benefit from our natural resources, you have to get in line with creating more natural resources, which is something as an Albertan I want. Here is Tim Houston. This is a tweet actually from Danielle Smith back on January 23rd, talking about Team Canada. Team Canada is dead, folks. It does not exist anymore. It is withering on the vine. Here he is. And this is what Danielle Smith said. It's time for Team Canada to get serious about our domestic energy security, nation building, and growing our economy. I joined Premier Tim Houston on his request to immediately approve the Energy East pipeline. Here he is right here.
Certainly during the discussion, I called for the Prime Minister and asked the federal government to immediately approve the Energy East project.
So he did this back in January, but this is not who Tim Houston is. We know that Mark Carney is not about building pipelines. We know this. We know that Wab Kinew, Premier of Manitoba, David Eby, Premier of British Columbia, do not want to build pipelines. They reveal who they are. They talk about Team Canada. They get Mark Carney elected, and now they're backing off on this stuff. So here is Tim Houston. This is Mark Nixon again, thanks to Mark, 9 hours ago, maybe 10 or 11 now at this point. Offshore wind will turn Nova Scotia into an energy superpower. This is who progressive, conservative Premier Tim Houston is. Listen to what he says here. As somebody in Alberta, I take great offense to this. Listen to this.
But this is a chance for us to take charge of our future. And it is a chance to make Nova Scotia and the rest of Canada more self-sufficient. We don't want to rely on the U.S. for energy, like natural gas flowing through the states to reach us.
We don't want to rely on the United States for energy. Well, why not rely on Alberta, Mr. Houston? Instead of putting up wind turbines, why not talk about Energy East, which have been an oil pipeline, and how about LNG going out to the East Coast as well to feed everybody across the country? Instead, you're spending taxpayers' dollars on wind turbines. The wind doesn't always blow. He talks about how the wind can power all of Nova Scotia. It's not going to happen. This is madness. This is not Team Canada, folks. This is failure. And this is who these people are. We're not going to get anything done. Nothing at all. And then you see an article like this. Let me just go back over to my screen. You see an article like this. They reveal every day who they are. Why do I want out of Canada? Because this is who they are. These are the fools we're dealing with. Carney government plans to spend millions propagandizing young Canadians about climate emergency. Here's the transfer payments. Nova Scotia's cut off. All the way across the country, one by one, the provinces are dropping like flies. Team Canada is dead, folks. But this is who Tim Houston is. This is what they believe. But major fail for him because he's now admitted wildfires are not caused by climate change, folks. They're caused by humans. And he couldn't ban lightning, but he would have if he had the opportunity because he believes in legislation and not education. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. I'll see you in the next one.